What's going on, everyone? Nathan here. So recently, back in July, I ended up picking up the 14-inch MacBook Pro, and I switched from video editing on my iPad to now using Final Cut Pro. I knew I wanted to make a decent desk setup when I got back to college to help me with my editing workflow, and the trackpad on the MacBook, while amazing, don't get me wrong, it just wasn't going to cut it out, especially for video editing. So I went out and I invested in a new mouse, and this right here is the Logitech MX Master 3S, recently updated from the original 3. And after using this now for a few months, this is probably the best mouse for content creators in 2022, and here's why. So starting off with the unboxing, inside you'll find the mouse itself, a USB-A to USB-C charging cable, and a Logibolt USB-C receiver. So the design of this mouse has to be one of its strongest areas, and I think Logitech nailed it. Its general dimensions are a height of 4.92 inches, a width of 3.32 inches, a depth of 2.01 inches, and this weighs 4.97 ounces or 141 grams. So I can throw dimensions and numbers at you all day, but it will just never do the ergonomics of this mouse justice. The best way I can describe holding this mouse is it feels like it's giving your hand a hug back. I would say I have medium-sized hands, not overly large, and this mouse fits my hands perfect. But for size comparison, here is this next to the Logitech G703 and also the Microsoft Surface Arc mouse that I used to use before this. So on this mouse, you'll find 7 different buttons all over the body of it, and I think this is what really lends it to be a mouse for productivity and also content creators. The 7 buttons consist of a right and left click, middle click with the scroll wheel, a wheel mode shift button, which is located just below the scroll wheel, forwards and backwards buttons found right above the thumb placement, and then a gesture button found right on the bottom of the thumb rest. So if you've ever heard of the MX mouse line before, then you also know that this has a horizontal scroll wheel, and I think this is probably my absolute favorite feature about this whole mouse, is that now on especially video editing, I have this scroll wheel where I can just cruise through the timeline and I don't have to like 2-finger swipe on the trackpad, and I use this literally all the time, almost every single day. I love this horizontal scroll wheel. So the materials that make up this mouse are also super high quality. The plastics are between 22 and 27% post-consumer recycled materials, depending on which colorway you get. The area where your hand actually rests on top of the mouse is slightly rubberized material and feels like Alcantara, and it's just the chef's kiss. I think it feels super comfortable to hold, and I love the choice of material here. There is also very slight grooves here that add a little bit of grip without being noticeable while using it. The swooping shape to a built-in thumb rest also really helps with comfort for extended uses, and I really do enjoy this thumb rest as it does take a lot of strain off of your hand, especially just being in that awkward, very unnatural position for your arm to be in. So I think that thumb rest really does help with comfort over long editing sessions. I went with the pale gray colorway on this mouse, and I know that this will probably show a little more wear and get dirty quicker over time, but I just love the look of like white accessories on maple wood, and I want to future-proof myself and make my future desk setup that kind of colorway. But I do personally think that this mouse has held up well over the past few months, and I don't see any wear on the color, but this probably won't hold up as well as the black or graphite, which are the other 2 colors offered. On the bottom is where you find a USB-C port to charge this device. It has a 500 milliamp hour battery, which is rated to last you up to 70 days on a single charge. And this also supports fast charging, which can get you up to 3 hours of use on just a single minute of charging, which is kind of crazy. When turned on and while charging, a green LED will light up right near the horizontal scroll wheel, and this LED will be green when the mouse is between 10 and 100% battery, and then it'll turn red when it's below 10%. So it's just a nice little indicator, and it lets you know when you need to charge this. On the bottom is where you will also find the on and off switch, and when you turn this device on, you will see a 1, 2, or 3 light up, which is what will indicate which device is connected to out of a maximum of 3 total devices. To switch between devices, you press the button located below the numbers, and it will cycle through the 3 devices you have this synced up to. So I personally believe that the Bluetooth on this mouse works extremely well, And for an average user, like I'm not using this for gaming or anything, I experience pretty much no latency that I noticed for myself. And I think for many other average users out there, this is gonna be plenty good enough with its Bluetooth that it has. So since we're on the topic of connectivity, if your employer sets strict measures and doesn't let you connect this Bluetooth to, let's say, a work PC or laptop, then this is where the Logibolt USB-C receiver comes in handy. And this allows you to connect your mouse so you'll be able to use it with these specific laptops and PCs. I personally haven't noticed any improved Bluetooth connection while using it, but I also haven't noticed it decrease at all, and it's just an option if you need it. The sensor inside this mouse is the Dark Field High Precision, which has a range of 200 to 8,000 DPI. So I personally have mine set to 1500 DPI, or about 65%, and you can adjust this yourself by downloading Logitech's free software called Logi Options Plus. You'll be able to find this software in Logitech's website, and this is where you'll be able to customize your mouse's button layout for general use, in specific applications, its sensitivity, and more. My general button layout looks like this, which I believe is the most useful for the majority of my applications I utilize on a daily basis. And probably one of my favorite button designations are these two buttons right near your thumb, the front one being redo and the back one being undo. I think there's such a huge time saver, and it's just super convenient having them right there, right by your thumb. So since I specifically got this to help speed up my video editing workflow, I have my own specific button layout set up for Final Cut Pro 10, and this is what it's looking like. I leave the thumb rest as gestures to switch between windows. The top two buttons above my thumb are now zoom in and out, since I am constantly going through this to quickly navigate through my timeline. The horizontal scroll wheel, again, is just so amazing. I'm a huge fan of this, and it feels super smooth and comfortable to use as well. I mapped the scroll wheel toggle button to be my undo button, since I generally don't have to redo things after I undo them, but I do find myself needing to press the undo button a lot more frequently than the redo. So the cost of the MX Master 3S mouse is $100, and I know that might seem like a lot for a mouse, but just the build quality and everything about it is so great. I definitely think it is worth it. And really the only difference between this one and then the regular 3 version, which was the one previous to this, is that now the buttons are a lot more quiet when you click them. And I think it comes down to personal preference, but just for example, this is what the 3S sounds like. So if you already have the original 3 and you're wondering if you should upgrade to the 3S model right here, I would definitely say don't do it unless the clicking sounds on the 3 are just too loud and annoying for you, which I genuinely don't think they were that bad in the first place. But I just don't think that there's enough besides that to upgrade to this mouse. So my final thoughts on the MX Master 3S mouse is that this has by far been the best mouse that I have personally ever used. It is the most comfortable and ergonomic, the best build quality, solid materials that just feel luxurious to hold in your hand, and the horizontal scroll wheel, I can't stress it enough. It's so amazing, and I think it's worth it for anyone, especially in video creation. So I personally think that this mouse is worth every penny, and if you're interested in it, then I'll leave updated prices with links down below if you want to pick one up for yourself. So with that being said, that's gonna be the end of the video. If you enjoyed it or if you learned something new, then please don't forget to hit the like button down below and subscribe. And as always, have a great day everyone, and cheers.